Welcome to a hamstring flexibility and mobility practice today. Thank you for joining me. We're going to begin our class in Dandasana, straightening the legs out, staff pose. We inhale, the arms float up, and we find some movement, folding forward but not holding the feet, leaning back, engage the core. Inhale, float up. Exhale, folding forwards, leaning back, feel the body warm up, sinking down to the mat, finding some movement fluidly throughout the whole of the lumbar spine and lengthening the hamstrings to begin with. Once more, we inhale, rise up. This time we fold forward, holding onto the knees, the shins, the feet. Gazing at the big toes, our drishti, coming into our Paschimottanasana. Keep the hands connected, inhale, rise up. Exhale, see if you can find another millimeter or so, sinking down to the ground. Inhale, our arms raise up, hands to the mat, tuck the knees, push the sitting bones up to the sky for a counter. Our reverse tabletop pose. Standing strong, we stay for 3, 2, 1. Inhale in, exhale, lowering to the mat, straightening the legs once more. From here, we actually warm up the quads to provide some protection. So our hands are on our hamstring. Inhale, raise the leg up. Exhale, lowering it. Trying to keep the back straight. There's a tendency here to curve through the spine to get the leg higher. We'd rather the leg be a little bit lower, but our posture supporting us. Beautiful. Let's inhale, meet at the top, holding for 3, 2, 1. Hands release. Stay strong for 3, 2, 1. Holding on to the ankle, placing it on the inner thigh. Inhale, the arms up. Exhale, folding forwards, finding length, finding our Janu Sirsasana. And again, we're trying to move from the hamstring and from the back, not the neck. So we keep gazing forwards, holding into our Janu Sirsasana. Breathing in, rising up. Exhale, let's sink down to the mat, gaze at the big toe. Maybe notice where your mind goes at the start of this practice. Are we in the past, the future? And can we sense that length in the hamstring coming to the present moment? Inhale, arms float up. Exhale, right hand outside of the right hip. Push the sitting bones to the sky, left arm hanging heavy. Finding our gate pose. Staying here just for a moment, taking a big breath in. Exhale, sitting bones to the mat. Left hand all the way to the left leg, sliding down as far as you can go. Right hand over the top of the body, trying to lift the chest up so I'm not letting this right shoulder collapse to the floor. Beautiful. Stay here for a moment. Maybe listen to the sounds that surround your little space to practice in today. Inhale, rising up, straightening that right leg. Left leg bends, holding on to the left leg. Inhale, we rise up. Exhale, lowering. Finding that natural movement with our breath once more. The reason we connect to the breath is firstly to warm up the joints, of course, but also just to create a bit of a foundation so that when we sit in stillness, we have a little bit more of a dynamic with that breath. Let's inhale, raise up, hold the foot. We're there for 3, 2, 1. Arms release, leg stays high. 3, 2, 1. Holding on to the inner left leg. Onto the right, arms float up. Exhale, hands floating down once more. Again, if you're at the knee, if you're at the shin, that's perfectly okay. We're all representing the same pose here. Sinking down. Taking a moment to just be grateful that you are on the mat. Taking a bit of care of the body and the mind today. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, left hand to the mat, right arm floats up. Push the sitting bones to the sky. Feel the length come into the right hand side of the body. Really noticing where you feel this stretch, what muscles are engaging, breathing in. Exhaling, right hand floats down. Coming to the outer leg, sliding as much as possible, left arm overhead. Finding our revolved head to knee pose. Inhale, let's rise up. We're going to meet in a tabletop pose, so you can cross the legs coming through or making your way here anyway. Warming up the wrists, so bring the hands really close to the knees and we move backwards and forwards. And you want to be gripping the yoga mat, so have the fingers wide, holding onto the mat, preparing the wrists for a bit of weight bearing. Then let's turn the hands to face the side lengths of the mat, leaning from one side to the other. And then finally, let's turn those fingers to point towards the knees, leaning back. Really feel this length. And if I say breathe into the wrists, see where your mind takes that. Inhale, let's float up. Just let the body feel any movement that it's calling for, that will know. Awesome. We warm up the back line a little bit more, so finding our tabletop, wrists, elbows, shoulders stacked on top of one another. And we're pointing the right toes backwards, trying to find a straight line in the back. You're welcome to stay here, but if you'd like, the left arm can float off the mat. Breathing in. Exhale, bringing the knee and the nose together. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, compressing. Feel safe in this space that you are creating. Inhale, we lengthen. One last time, collapsing in. For a final time, inhale, lengthen, point the toes. The left hand trying to catch the bent right leg, kicking the heel away from the bum. Finding stability. And if you notice the body shaking, wobbling at all, simply be aware of it. Do not judge this. Inhale, exhale, left hand to the mat. Sweep the right foot forward, arms off the mat. Anjaneyasana, our low lunge. Sinking in here. Take a breath in. Exhale, see if the body opens up with a little bit more comfort into this asana. And then we try and invite a twist into our practice. Inhaling in. Exhale, it's right arm forward, left arm behind. Trying to gaze at my left hand, gazing at the thumb. Again, notice where you feel this stretch. Keep the bend in the right leg. And then with control, we try and inhale up through center. Exhale, hands to the mat. And we're trying to straighten this right leg. If this doesn't happen on the first move, you can wiggle the leg forward, wiggle that heel. And again, I'm gazing at my big toe. I don't want my neck collapsing down. And it's here where we combine the ancient practice of yoga with modern techniques, proprio-neural facilitation. And what I invite you to do is keep the foot grounded, but push the heel into the mat. Feel the hamstring light up. We hold for 3, 2, 1. Release the stretch, breathing in. Exhale, sinking down a little bit lower. And if you notice your hands are quite close to your foot, you can try and play with some balance. So the right hand coming to the outside of the right foot. Left hand coming, interlacing the fingers. Finding a bit of balance here. Breathing in. Exhale, hands to the mat if you took that option. Plant the foot, slide the foot through. Finding our tabletop. Sense the energy in the right leg for a moment. Just noticing it. And then again, you can push the left foot to the back of class, and you can keep with the leg here. But if you do want to invite some extra balance in, the right arm floats up, gazing forward, breathing in. Exhale, finding compression. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, collapsing in. Inhale, find length. Exhale, coming into oneself. Inhale, find length. Bending that left leg, right arm comes behind, catching the top of the foot, or if possible, the ankle. It just keeps the joint a little bit more safe. Open up the chest. Kicking the heel away for one more big breath in. Exhale, right hand to the mat. Sweep the left foot forward, arms float up, hips sink to the ground. Hello lunge, Anjaneyasana once more. Allowing yourself to be here fully. And the modern world tries to keep us urgent, ticking over our to-do list. This is a big part of the to-do list, self-care. Breathing in. Exhale, left arm forward, right arm behind. And you're trying to really pull the shoulders so that your arms are in a line with each other. So have a quick look, notice if you can find a little bit more depth. Sinking the hips down a touch lower. Breathing in with control, rise up. Exhale, hands to the mat again, straightening that left leg. Don't worry if it doesn't look like this for you. You can be raised up a lot higher. We're all representing the same pose. And once more, let's bring the modern world in. Keep the heel planted, but push it into the yoga mat. Feel the hamstring engage. Holding for 3, 2, 1. Release, breathe in. Exhale, sink down. Maybe the hands walk a little bit further forward. Left hand comes outside of the left foot. Right arm inside. Trying to find that balance. If you'd like to add that, a little bit of a challenge to today's practice. Taking a moment, breathing in. Exhale, release the hands, plant the foot, sliding back through. We find a balasana, a child's pose, knees wide. toes together, resting the head on the mat. And we stay here just for a moment as we release the physical side of our practice, finding a few more restorative poses to finish our class. Keep the legs grounded, coming up through a tabletop. The knees come back through center, resting the chest towards the mat, finding a puppy pose. Hands connected, forearms connected. Again, resting the chin, resting the forehead down. Breathing in. Exhale, keep everything where it is. Float forward, place the hip bones on the mat, finding our Sphinx pose. And this may be where you want to stay. This is already a pretty big back bend. If you do want to find any more depth, you're trying to just rise up, engaging the lower back muscles, straightening the arms. Feel this fully for a moment before breathing in. Exhale, sink to the mat, and we simply roll over onto our back, finding some more passive hamstring stretches now. So let's bend the legs to start with, hug the knees in. Be grateful that you are simply on the mat, spending a bit of time caring for yourself. You take a big breath in. Exhale, let the left leg fall to the mat. Keep the right knee hugged into the chest. And in our next move, what we're going to be trying to do is straightening the leg to the sky. You can hold on to the hamstring, trying to keep the right leg straight. If you have the depth, you can hold on to the big toe. Again, make sure this right leg is straight. That is the most important part of this asana. And we stay here for a moment in our Supta Padangusthasana, listening to the sounds that surround you, using this as our anchor to the present moment. Finding stillness just for one more moment. Breathing in. Exhale, release the right leg. Left hand comes to the right knee, pulling the knee over to the left hand side. Right arm extends away from us, finding a really big holistic twist. Urdhva-asana. As we come towards the end part of our class, try and notice if there's been a theme to the mind. Has a particular emotion or thought arisen? Coming through center, hugging the knees into the chest. And we know that yoga is not about pushing away the tough thoughts, welcoming the good ones. It is about accepting life's complexity and all of the dynamics within it. Releasing the right leg to the mat, hugging in the left leg. You know where we're going now. Left leg to the sky, holding onto the hamstring or to that left big toe with the first two fingers. Being grateful for simply the senses, not judging what the body looks like. Feel this length in the back line. Feel the length in the hamstring. Inhale in. Exhale, release the foot. Right hand comes to left knee, left arm away from the body, finding a twist. Really noticing how holistic, how caring this pose can be. Gazing over the left side, a full restorative twist for the spine. Inhale through center. We find Ananda Balasana, happy baby. So you can bend the legs so the soles of the feet point to the sky, holding onto the hamstrings, or you can hold onto the outside of the feet, pulling the knees down towards the mat. Our final pose before Shavasana, so really allow the body to open up here. Allow the mind to be prepared for a little bit of stillness coming forward in our final part of class. Breathing in. Exhale, lowering to the mat. Palms face up. And if you've not done so already, you can close down the eyes. And I appreciate that you may have came here for the movement, the physical practice. But if you can take a minute just to be with the breath, you will be able to take off the energy you have created inside to the world, sharing it with all of those that you are fortunate enough to interact with. So let's spend just another 30, 40 seconds here, another few breaths. And then let's check in, where did the mind wander off to? Just for the joy of getting to know ourselves. And then we can wiggle the toes, the hands in harmony together, listening to what the body needs. Hands overhead, interlace the fingers, point the toes. Releasing, rolling on to whichever side of the body you're calling for, bending the legs, using the hand or the arm as a pillow. Rising back up to our seats that we began class in. Crossing the legs if that's comfortable for you. Hands on the knees. Opening up the eyes. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice. I hope you enjoyed getting to know yourself. And I'll see you on the mat again soon.